And that's one of the things that's a huge problem for those of us who've been through narcissistic abuse is being separated from your own ability to trust yourself and trust your intuition.
Hello, this is Douglas Eby, author of the Creative Mind series of sites. That was Dr. Meg Haworth. She continues in this excerpt from a longer interview for the Shift Network, talking about her adverse childhood experiences that led to her own healing and developing a mind-body process that has helped many people gain clarity, health, and recovery.
Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called How to Heal Yourself from Toxic and Narcissistic Family Dynamics. Release wounded emotional energy, restore health, reclaim sovereignty, and embrace authentic self-expression. My name is Stephen Dyna. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm really delighted to be with you here, getting to learn right alongside with you from one of the foremost experts in the world on a really important subject, really healing in a deep, lasting way from toxic and narcissistic family dynamics. Her name is Dr. Meg Haworth. She's a transpersonal psychologist. She's a holistic chef and an author, and has really been helping us to see how, from a very holistic spiritual perspective, how to transform these deeper patterns that we, so many people, have coming into adulthood. So Dr. Meg, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be a part of this.
Well, we're super excited to learn more, and we're also delighted that you're going to offer a brand new upcoming program called Heal from Toxic and Narcissistic Family Dynamics that we'll share more about later in the hour if people want to go further with you. So, Dr. Meg, let's begin with, I think, your personal backstory. You know, I find with these kind of subjects, there's always a personal backstory because it's almost like the deeper why of what you're bringing forward into the world is often overcoming your own challenges in this area. So maybe share a little bit about that and what you've learned.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up with a narcissistic parent in a toxic family system. I also had all kinds of abuse growing up. And I spent a lot of time in my childhood being very sick. On top of that, in my childhood, I also drowned and had a near-death experience, and I was highly intuitive. I was so sensitive and psychic and empathic that I really just took on a lot of the abuse and a lot of the emotions that were coming my way and really took it on as a part of me. And so that led to illness. But it took me many, many years to unwind this. And by the time I was in my 20s, I was in and out of doctor's offices, getting more and more diagnoses, bedridden sometimes for weeks at a time. And I finally started to listen to my intuition. It just happened in a moment where everything just turned for me. And I started to seek a complementary care. And it was in seeking that everything opened up for me, because then I just started to follow the inner voice that I always had, but my narcissistic parent had really separated me from. And that's one of the things that's a huge problem for those of us who've been through narcissistic abuse is being separated from your own ability to trust yourself and trust your intuition. And so that became a big part of my life path and what led me to be a teacher. So my path did lead me through first food, to try to get well, eliminating all the foods I was allergic to. But unwinding that further was understanding that I was allergic to those foods because of the emotional impact that my body had taken on from the abuse. And so it was unwinding all of that, understanding that the emotions affect the physical body, have huge impact on us, and they can create illness in the body. And learning about somatic therapies and spiritual development and learning to hone my psychic and intuitive abilities also helped me so much to become who I am today and to become the teacher that I have become. And I've helped thousands of people over the last 25 years to heal as well from their abuse history and how that's impacted their physical body. And I do it holistically, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Well, thank you for undertaking this journey of healing and being able to bring it back so much of what you've learned to others and help thousands of others heal. Let's go into the original. I know there's a wide variety of different kinds of abuse people can suffer, but really focusing on the core dynamics that you were mentioning there about it's undermining your own self-authority, your own ability to kind of trust yourself. Maybe to share a little bit about what happens from this kind of deeper vantage point in an abusive or toxic growing up period, and then how that then needs to be addressed in terms of the healing of it.
Yeah, so narcissistic and abuse and toxic family systems, basically, when I say that, what I mean is you were raised by an emotionally immature or emotionally stunted parent who really they weren't equipped to be able to raise you in a way that was supportive and loving and helpful and unconditional. Love was conditional. So when you think about what happens in this kind of family system, emotions are really used as a weapon. It's sort of like emotional warfare. And so these emotions, and the key ones are shame, guilt, because narcissism is a shame-driven disorder. So that parent is not willing to touch their own shame, so they're projecting it onto you. So you get blamed for everything that they're doing or not doing, and things that never even happened, because they're just looking for a way to just get rid of it. They don't want to deal with it. They're not going to, and they're not going to take accountability. So everything becomes your fault and the fault of your siblings and your other parent, assuming they're not also narcissistic. And I often see both parents. So these emotions, if you think about it, negative emotions have such a huge charge. And on the scale of consciousness, they've been able to measure emotions and the frequency and vibration of them. And the most dense one is shame. So if you think about what that does to your body over time, how that drains your energy field over time, and eventually your biology can no longer support that energetic drain. And so you start to get sick. Or you have aches and pains or chronic mystery illnesses, symptoms that your doctor's like, there's nothing wrong with you. It's all in your head. It's not. It's all in your energy field. And that's really what I work with, is helping people understand this is an energetic dynamic, and it's an energetic drain from negative emotions that are literally being cast upon you, and then your own reactions on top of that. So it's a big double whammy.
Thanks for listening. See the Creative Mind post for this podcast episode with links to resources and other material.